All right, welcome back. We'll get started in a second. Let's talk about uh, things you got to know. What do you have to know? It's almost the end of the quarter. What does that mean for you? We have 10 days left. So this is today, the 3rd. The course ends on the 13th. It all closes down. There's no past the 13th. The 13th is the end date for the course. And then new courses start actually on the 13th. So the 13th at midnight, this course shuts down and I have to get all the grades in. I kind of want to say that like 17 times. Today's the 3rd. The 13th, the course shuts down. No more, it won't be open anymore. You can't turn anything in. So the 13th at midnight, it's done. I'll send out more notifications throughout the week reminding everybody that the 13th is the last day. There's no extensions, no, what about this, what about that? No, we've been doing this for 8 weeks. This is the final day. Right there. Final day. Know it. I love it. Just know that the 13th is the final day for anything to be turned in for this course. All right, the 13th, October 13th. Then it shuts down. What happened on the 14th? When you look, it won't be there. It'll be missing. Okay. So anybody who comes to me and emails me on the 14th wondering what happened to the course, I'll say, did you watch the lecture on the 3rd, the 8th, and the 10th, where I talked about the 13th is the last day? It no longer is open. College shuts it down and I have to turn in grades. So that's what's going to happen. So there you know it. What can you do? Turn in everything. If you can't turn it in, well, that's you've been here for a while. We've been doing this for a while. I don't need to tell anybody. You're in college. You know how college works. You turn in assignments, you get a grade, and you pass or you don't. So stay on top of it. You know how it works. That's how it works. That's how it works in your other classes. Get used to it. That's it. So, all right. 3 things today. Again, you've done the hardest of the hard. Today we're going to do a little duotoning. It's actually more than duotone. You can change the colors more than just duotone. I'm going to show you how to make a brush. It's called like bohec. It's a neat little illusion, but it shows you that within these programs, within Illustrator, within Photoshop, mostly Photoshop, is you can make brushes, do whatever you want. It's it's endless possibilities. And as I always say, if you want it done and you're like, I wish I could make this one effect. If you find out the name of that effect, you go online, you're going to find out how to do it. And it's very cool. There's ways to do absolutely everything in these programs. It's just doing it. Well, I don't know how to do it. Look it up. Like nobody knows how to do anything. It's just looking up and playing around, moving some stuff, moving some pixels. Oh, what if I change this one? What if I change this parameter? What if I change that parameter? That's all people have been doing for the past, 50 years with these programs. How do you make that charcoal brush? Well, somebody's done it, but they slowly worked on it over time and made it better and better and better. And that's how it works. So you can do anything you want in Photoshop. You just have to be able to like look it up and play around. Nothing's instantaneous, even though it is Photoshop and we all think the computer's instantaneous. It's not. You have to develop steps to get what you want, and then people will follow you because you've developed some steps to do something new and original. So it's cool. I love the things you can do in Photoshop are amazing when it comes down to it. So we're in part 2, advanced techniques. Let's jump in. So what you are going to do, I don't have it all on, is find an image. And I said find an image, maybe with not a lot of background. This girl, I don't even think I cut her out. I think this is the way she came. It works. It's going to look cooler if it's just like a single person doing something. It's it's going to look much, much better. I have those files in there where you can find free, and make sure it's big. You know, make sure it's a big enough file. We're working at 1920 by 1080. That's all you need. And then size size it appropriately. As you can see, my image was a lot bigger, but I wanted the girl to be the main focus, and so I adjusted it. I used my artistic abilities there and adjusted it and got it in there and set it. So here's where we're going to start playing, and it's a quick one. There's like 3 steps. Like once you get this person in, you're like, oh wait, then what? I'm done. Okay. So we are going to map a gradient onto this to make it look like a duotone. So I'm going to go down to here. And if I go all the way down, so not this first one, the very last one, gradient map. And I'm just going to click on that. It automatically pops up with this. But we're going to change it because that's what we do. You can change anything in this, and it's so much fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to like pick, you can pick anything you want. Do oranges. I'm going to do this one. I'm going to pick it. And I'll be like, oh, okay. Am I done? No, she's reversed. It looks dumb, okay? So what I can do is I can hit reverse right there. Ooh, that's looking cool. One button, right? That's how it came. And if I hit reverse. Now I can modify this more. So I'm going to go and open gradients. So what I did is I double clicked on this. See this bar? I want to adjust it and just watch what you can do. Double click. Now it opens up this. I can move these around and see what happens. Now the other thing I can do is change the color more. This little dot is this color. But what if I want it even lighter yellow? Oh, there we go. And what if I want this to be darker purple? There I go. But what if I want to really mess with it? And I'm going to click right in the middle. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to click. And it added purple. And it made that effect. But what if I then click on color and make it cyan? And then when I move that around, what happens? So I hope you can see what's happening. The darkest darks are now the dark purple. The mediums are the teal. And the end part is yellow. And you can move these around and play around, add them, subtract them. Like if I don't like the purple, you grab it and you just pull it off. Like I'm grab, click and drag, and you pull it off. I don't like that. Boom. There it is. You want one back in? There you go. Click back in. So it's like infinitely adjustable in what you can do and how you can do that. So let's do that once more. I got a picture. I'm going to go to that split circle at the bottom, scroll all the way down to gradient map. I'm going to pick one. I'm going to pick a different one. Let's do greens. I haven't done greens yet. And I'm picking one that's like contrasty, like not real soft. Or if you pick one real soft, you're going to have to adjust the colors a lot. Like if I do that one. And then I'm going to hit reverse. And then I'm going to double click. And I'm going to start playing. I want that color green to be even lighter. I want that medium blue, but I'm going to add a darker blue. And I'm just going to do this, click here, make it darker. And then I can like, oh, do I want to move that in? And just watch what happens. That's all we're doing. There, she looks filled out there. It's cool. Now, the other thing you can do is I have all these. I did a bunch. Oh, this one, oh my God. That's hilarious that I almost did the same one as my original. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. But what you can do is I added a layer and I put a white gradient on it. Just a pure white gradient. And I should remove it from her elbow. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to erase this area by her elbow just to make it a little bit better. Like, I don't want her affected by the gradient. I just want the background. And I'll show you what it does. Because, as the way Photoshop works, it's working in layers. So now I have this bright white area. I'm going to reverse on me. All right. I'm going to turn it off. And I'm going to turn on like this first one. Now, if I turn on the white, it adds an even lighter area here. Or if I do the same thing with black, it'll bring in the darkest tone and fade that in from the side. So black will bring in your darkest color. White will bring in your lightest color. And you can just play around with those. Like here, this one's pretty extreme. Like there's my lighter color. So it looks like she's looking at the sun now, you know, like it's around her. Here's the darker color. If I can go in and I can even like my flow, my opacity. I want my opacity to 100. I'm going to go in and like remove that black from there to make it even better on here. You know, I'm just erasing the black where I don't need it, the black fade onto her. And then so that's what you can add to make, you know, little pink there, or this is the lighter light, you know, that's really washed out. But and I want a bunch of versions. I want your image. I want 1, 2, 3, 6 different layer effects. You know, try some things out. Oh, this is like, and this is where it gets great. You know, like, okay, so I got this, like that one. And you can do anything. If I do brush with white on a layer and a big, you know, fat fade, opacity there, and like, you can do like, I'll do it at 100 so it shows up right away. You know, like you can do like all this kind of weird stuff and it comes in that color and then you like change this and be like 50%, you know, like, oh, it's like a cool little thing, but the colors match and all that. If I double click on that, I think if I hit color overlay, yep, and I change it to like black, it now makes it, you know, that color. So play around, and it's all dependent on what you have here. And it just, that layer knows to do everything below it. So play around, have some fun, and it's just the gradient mapping. So I want to see, like, this is where we start to do artistic things. Try some stuff out. So that is the first project. Second project, or the special effects, I call it, your name project. So we have an image. I'm going to bring out my layers. And everything is there for you. You're going to create a file, 1,000 pixels by 600 pixels. You're going to set the color. You're going to make a fill layer, as I have here. And you set it to, you know, 27.1 C2D. Background color. Okay. Oh, no. This is here. Sorry, I jumped the gun. Oh no, that's a gradient. Sorry. You know what? It's a gradient fill. I am 100% wrong when I was talking. So foreground, background colors. Foreground, background. So this color, I'm just going to copy and paste it from the assignment. It's such a small gradient. That's why I missed it. It's like from dark purple to darker purple. And I forgot that we're playing a lot with gradients today. And I'm going to copy and paste the second color, put it in here. So that's these two colors. One's lighter than the other, one's darker than the other. I'm going to go to gradient. I'm going to make sure my gradient, I'm going to go up to basic. And I want this first one. The first one is foreground to background. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull from the top to the bottom. Oh, you're going to make sure you're on radial, because we've done this before. You did this on the fire project. Radial, top to bottom. I know you guys can barely see a color difference, but there's a color difference there. Then you're going to bring in your image. The image is light bokeh texture 21. It's downloadable. So I'm going to go to File, Place Embed, and I should have it my downloads right there. Place. And there we are. It places right in. Double click on it, have it set, and then I'm going to set that one to overlay. Normal. Overlay. Oh, wait. It goes behind it. This one is on. Normal. This one's overlay. Why is these? Was it affecting? No, I had it right. Why did it not look like the other one? I shouldn't work into old files like this, because this is happening. Well, I guess it's that dark. All right. It was darker than I remember. Follow the instructions. Just darker than I remember when doing these. I have a font for you. The font is ETH, and you're going to do that thing where you just type out your name in white. So I'm going to type my name. I'm going to change my gradient, my texture, so I can see it. J-O-E-L. This is set for ETH already. I'll show you how to do it. I'm going to open up Window, Character. Here you can do ETH. Or you can pick it, you can type it in. The color is white, and they want this tracking set to 70. You want your letters spaced out a little bit. And then right now, you just can kind of leave that go. Now we're going to create a brush. This is something new you've never done before. There is a PDF that has all the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Follow, across, and it shows, and it has all the everything you need in it. All the dimensions, all the styles, but I'll go through that right now. So you're going to you can kind of randomly start. I didn't click on that. I'm just going to pick this hard round brush, then go to Window, Brush Settings, and it brings out this guy, all right? And we're just going to go through. First one is Brush Tip Shape. We're going to type in 25 for the size. All right. And then spacing, see this? 95. And I want you to watch what happens down here. This is what your brush is going to look like. This is a simulation of I drew You know, I drew it once. All right. So that's brush tip shape. Now I'm going to go to shape dynamics, and I'm just going to go down 45, control off. It's 0, 0, 0, 0, and then that's it. But can you see what happened here? If I put it back, see how it's changing? Some are small, some are big. So we're going to go to 45. Next one is scattering. We want to do it on both axes. We're going to set it to 95, not 904, but you can see what happened. Like, see what's happening there? The higher I go, the more those go from in a line to broken up. Pretty cool. I'm going to do 95 like it says. Off, contour, count 1, count jitter 1. All right. I just have to move my document. Next one, color dynamics. We're going to apply per tip, foreground, background color jitter. We want it 100. And the rest are at zeros. So this is a play. Comes in later. You may not notice. It's like, oh, it didn't do anything, but that's like kind of the next step. We have a transfer, 0, and then we want flow jitter at 100. Did I do anything with smoothing? Oh, and then the final one, it doesn't change anything, but it's clicked here. It's clicked in the document that I gave you right here, but it doesn't change the panel. Just click smoothing. Nothing changes. Like, it's not like it doesn't open a panel. You just make sure smoothing is clicked. And then I'm going to go to the plus, and I'm going to call it Bohec 2, because I think I have one. And then we hit OK. And then we can close that. Now in my brushes, when I go to brushes, window, brushes, my brush is right here. Bohec 2. Now what we can do with that, it's pretty cool. We can apply it to our name plus do other effects. So what we need to do first is we need to change, well, we're going to do a couple things in a row. We're going to go to layers, and I'm going to make sure I'm on my name. And I'm going to right click on it. I want to create work path. Create work path, click. What that did is it outlined my name. So when I go to paths, I have a work path that is my name. So I can turn that off. And if I turn on, I turned it off, view, extras, you can see the work path. So you can see it there, okay? Now, I'm going to change my top. I'm going to create a new layer. Call it Bohec. Then I'm going to change the colors of my foreground color right there. I'm just going to click on the foreground color and copy and paste it in. Do my background color. Oh, shit. Hit OK. Pick my background color. Put that in. Okay. So it's pink and blue. Now I'm going to click on my selection tool. Now with my path, I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to go stroke path. Brush is what you want. And then simulate pressure is unchecked. And I'm going to hit OK. Now it placed that around there. It's very light. But we can then start to layer this. So this is where you start to play around. So we can check pressures and other things like that. So I can do it again if I want. Say I turn that one off. I go to path. Right click on it. Stroke path. Brush. Hit OK. And it just does it again. But what it does is it's going to be very hard to see. I'm going to make sure my pressure's up on 100. I'm going to go to my book. It had some settings that I don't want. I'm going to do flow 100. I'm going to change my flow and opacity to 100, which you can update to really show what I'm doing. So new layer. And this is what you just kind of keep trying it. It's the same thing over and over. Layer, path, right click, stroke path, brush, hit OK. So there we have it. It's darker for you to see. It's actually too dark. But now if I do that again, you'll see the difference because it randomizes the path each time. It should. It's supposed to. Now, if I see how they're different. So each time you do this, it's different, which is quite amazing that the computer, like every time you can never get the same one twice. So even on these light ones, they're both different. They never match. And then you can go in, and the rest of this really is just like playing around. So I have my name. I'm going to turn off the view so you don't see that. And then you can blur it. You're going to go in and blur it to 0.5 and make it more subtle. But I want to show you something really cool with this. With this brush turned on, this is also a brush I can use. So if I go up to the paintbrush and I go to a layer, I'm going to go to a layer. Bring it up to the top. I can paint. Now I'm going to make sure, let's put this up to 100 again. When I draw, that's my brush. Now, if I change these colors, it'll change my brush. So you can, infinitely change this stuff to match whatever you want to match. And then, like I have, add a blur to this, do some other things. So you're creating a brush and you're adding that brush to the outline of your name. And then, like you can go in and then make it look cool, to make this look better. Like I'll do filter, blur, Gaussian blur. That's way too much. It was like 0.5 was pretty good. You could go up a little bit more. Maybe knock down the opacity, like maybe 75. There. Now it looks like, that rainy day look on your windshield. Like that's what it's supposed to simulate. That's what this light pattern is called. So that's how you do that. And that's how you create a brush. So you can, whatever you want, like you can create the weirdest brushes ever and have them be whatever you want. Do orange and green. Well, orange and fluorescent green. And then you can change the size. So it acts like a brush as well, where if I'm like, oh, I want to crank the size. And then each time you draw, it's going to do it differently. Each starting point is different. So have some fun with that, working with those. It's so much, yeah, it's so cool. All right, so that's the special effects project. Now the final one, your final real world project for the semester, for the quarter, well, which is your semester here. 3 images. I got to remove the logos. This is standard work when you are working with like celebrities and athletes and all this stuff. I've had to do this so many times, and actually I didn't think about it at first until I had a friend who's a photographer, and he's like, oh man, I just had to take out logos from like 50 different shots, because what they do is it's the great little shot, but say they want to use I forget who this is. It's a mountain biker. She's very famous, but they're like, we want to use this image for a different promotional item. You got to remove all the logos. And so we would have to go in back in the day, and you may have to do this and look for every logo and then remove it. Nowadays, this is so easy, but it's not going to work for everyone. So just be wary. And there's 3 images to do. So for this one, I circled the Jeep, right? And I can use the generative fill here at school is one way to do it. And I should. Oh, and one thing I always do when doing this, always duplicate your background just in case. I mean, you have the images, but I can just generate fill. And what would you like to do? Remove logo. And then you get like that one looks like crap. That looks pretty good. That one looks bad. So I would go with this one. They did a good job. And then you can go back to your layer, and then you go, here. Remove logo. The big blurry spot, that's got some texture in it. That's a big blurry spot. So I go with that. Well, what if you can't do it like that? Well, there's a lot of other tools out there to work with. One of my favorites, it's the clone stamp tool. So you're going to pick a brush. Again, I have a hard time because I have my brushes set for such a weird size. You're going to be on your background. Then we click here, and then you're going to click like the Option key until you get this pointer. And you're going to pick an area that is similar to the area you want to paint over. And I'm going to click here. So I'm holding down Options, I'm clicking. And that's saying this area is my target point. And when I bring that target point down here and I start the color in, it's bringing whatever's up there down into here. So the colors should very much match. And you can kind of go up, add some, but we don't want a full repeat. And that's the main way you go about changing some of these. You just do them bit by bit, and you go in and you find each one. And like here, I'll do this one. We'll hold on Option. I want to tag it from here. And I'm going to like bring it up and in. And it's just a step and repeat. If you got to do it by hand. There's other ways, like I wonder if we can use the blemish tool. The blemish tool, the Band-Aid worked really well. You may have to do it in little segments. That didn't work very well. I don't know, you go back and forth in it, kind of fix things up. That just made it, you know, that you can totally tell was, but then I have that other one, you know, kind of a combo of both. And you just go through, remove logos. There's 3 images, just go in and remove logos. That is a totally real world thing that you would have to do. Oh, that's, they're wearing a sponsor that we can't show, you know, for Disney. Remove that logo. Okay, got to remove the logos. A famous person is wearing a hat, you know, and the hat has whatever it says on it. Can you remove that stuff from the hat? Oh yeah, sure can. You go in and you remove it. So, and that's the real world project. Sort of the last ones as we conclude our time together in Photoshop. Are there any? I think a couple people joined on. Just so you guys know, I'm going to say it again. I think I closed it out. October 13th is the last day. No work after midnight. No works accepted after October 13th. I have to turn in grades, and the new quarter starts. So if you have another 8-week class that starts that day, just keep that in mind. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Yeah. The generative tool is not working again. That for you may be a problem. So then you can use, like I said, the clone stamp. And then does the Band-Aid tool work for you? I'll come over and I'll work with you a little bit. Anything else? All right, cool. You know how to get a hold of me. I will talk to you later. All right, bye-bye.